Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Native Flow English. I'm Sarah, your host for today's lesson. If you're just joining us, I want to let you know that we upload a brand new English learning video every single day to help you speak more naturally, sound confident, and take your fluency to the next level. In today's masterclass, we're going to zero in on the exact English phrases that I use on a daily basis. These are the phrases that make conversations sound genuine, natural, and fluent. Native English speakers use these all the time, but a lot of learners forget to practice them. By learning and using these phrases, you'll not only boost your English speaking and listening abilities, but you'll also start to think in English without any hesitation. We'll be taking a look at how to use these daily phrases in various real-life scenarios, at home, at work, in coffee shops, on phone calls, when you're agreeing or disagreeing with someone, and when you want to express surprise or other emotions. And along the way, you'll get practice exercises and speaking prompts to help you start using these phrases naturally and confidently. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to Native Flow English and hit that bell icon so you never miss a new English learning episode that's designed to help you grow every single day. So, take a deep breath. Make yourself comfortable and get ready to speak English confidently with me. Let's get started. Let's kick things off with the kind of phrases that we all use without even realizing how powerful they are when it comes to daily communication. For example, simple phrases like, "You know what I mean," or "That makes sense," or even, "I totally get you." These phrases are small and simple, but they're incredibly important because they keep conversations flowing and make you sound fluent and engaged. Just imagine you're chatting with a friend about something that happened at work. Your friend tells you, "My boss asked me to redo the entire presentation even though I stayed up all night working on it." You can respond naturally by saying something like, "Oh, I totally get you. That must be so frustrating." This small phrase, "I totally get you," shows empathy, understanding, and contributes to that natural flow in the conversation. Now, repeat after me, slowly. "I totally get you. I totally get you." Feel how the words just roll off your tongue naturally. Try saying it with a little bit of emotion. "I totally get you." When you really want to show that you understand what someone is saying, here's another great one to use. "That makes sense." When someone's explaining something to you and you want to confirm that you understand, simply say, "Yeah, that makes sense." It's subtle, natural, and super common in advanced spoken English. Practice with me. "Yeah, that makes sense." Try it again, just a little faster this time. "Yeah, that makes sense." Excellent. Now, let's practice using both of these phrases in a short, mini conversation. You say, "I couldn't finish my report because my computer crashed." Your friend responds, "Oh, I totally get you. That must have been so annoying." You reply, "Yeah, it was. But everything's fixed now, so it's fine." And your friend responds, "That makes sense." Did you notice how natural that sounded? None of those lines sounded robotic or like they came straight out of a textbook. They sounded like a real conversation. And that's exactly what we want to practice today. When you're speaking English every day, it's not about trying to use difficult or fancy words. It's all about using phrases that convey emotion, intention, and rhythm. That's what fluent speakers do. They connect words with feelings. Okay, let's move on to another group of phrases that you can use every single day when you want to agree with someone or show your support. Instead of just saying yes or okay, try using something that shows a little more tone and personality. For example, absolutely or exactly. You could also say, you're right about that, or I couldn't agree more. Repeat after me slowly. Absolutely. Exactly. You're right about that. I couldn't agree more. These are the kinds of expressions you hear in natural, everyday English conversations. Nothing too formal or stiff, just clear and confident. Let's try them in context. Imagine someone says, I think learning through real conversations is way better than just studying grammar rules. You can reply, absolutely. That's the best way to learn naturally. Or you could say, exactly. That's how you pick up the real rhythm of the English language. Repeat after me again. And this time, add a little emotion. Absolutely. Exactly. You're right about that. I couldn't agree more. Now, Muis, take a moment to think about your own day. How often do you find yourself agreeing with people, whether it's a coworker, a family member, or a friend? Try replacing your usual yes with one of these phrases. It'll instantly make you sound more fluent, more expressive, and more like a native English speaker. Let's practice with a few real-life examples together. You're at work and your colleague says, we should definitely finish this project by tomorrow. You can reply, absolutely. Let's do it. Your friend says, this restaurant makes the best coffee in town. You can respond, exactly. I love their cappuccino. Or someone says, speaking English every day really helps to improve your fluency. You can respond with, you're right about that. Or, I couldn't agree more. Each time you say it, pay attention to the tone of your voice. Fluency isn't just about the words themselves. It's about sound, emotion, and timing. That's what really gives life to your English. Let's do a quick speaking exercise. I'll give you a sentence, and you respond naturally using one of these agreement phrases. I'll say, learning English through practice is much better than just memorizing grammar rules. You say either absolutely or exactly. I'll say, speaking slowly can really help to improve your pronunciation. You say, you're right about that. I'll say, it's definitely easier to remember new words when you use them in complete sentences. You say, I couldn't agree more. Good job. You're not just repeating the words. You're training your brain to think in English patterns. Now, let's move on to another everyday area, expressing emotion. When something surprises you, don't just say, oh, or really. Try using some of these instead. No way. You're kidding. That's unbelievable. Or, are you serious? For example, your friend tells you, I met your favorite actor yesterday. You can respond with, no way, you're kidding. These kinds of reactions add life to your speech and make you sound emotionally connected, instead of robotic. Let's repeat these together. No way. You're kidding. That's unbelievable. Are you serious? Try saying them with a little emotion. Feel the rise in your voice when you express surprise. The energy in your tone makes the English feel alive. Now, imagine a few different situations. Your friend says, "I just got a new job." You respond, "No way, congratulations." Or your colleague says, "We finished the project 2 days early." You say, "That's unbelievable." Or someone tells you, "I just ran 5 miles this morning." You respond, "Are you serious?" When you speak with emotion, your brain connects the feeling with the language. And that's how real fluency develops. Take a moment right now. Close your eyes if you want. And imagine yourself talking to someone confidently in English. You're using these phrases naturally. Your tone is calm, your rhythm is smooth, and your words are flowing easily. That's the power of practice. So, whenever you're learning a new phrase, don't just read it. Say it out loud. Use it in your daily life. And let your brain build that natural rhythm of the English language. Now, let's move a little deeper into daily communication. Every conversation has moments when you need to show interest to keep the dialogue flowing or to make the other person feel heard. In advanced English, we do this not by using long sentences, but by using short, friendly, responsive phrases. Imagine you're listening to someone talk about their weekend, and you want to show them that you're engaged in the conversation. Instead of staying silent or only saying, "Yeah," try using natural listener phrases like, "Oh, really? That's nice. Sounds great. Good for you." Or, "I see what you mean. Let's practice together slowly." "Oh, really? That's nice. Sounds great. Good for you. I see what you mean." Now, here's a short dialogue for practice. A friend says, "I finally started going to the gym again after being away for 2 months." You respond, "Good for you. That's amazing." Then they add, "It's tough to stay consistent, though." You reply, "Yeah, I see what you mean." Notice how this little rhythm keeps the conversation warm and alive. It shows that you're not only listening, but you're also connecting emotionally. Now, repeat after me, imagining the tone of a real conversation. Good for you, excited tone. I see what you mean, understanding tone. Sounds great, friendly tone. You can even record yourself saying these lines. Listen back and check your tone. The more natural it sounds, the closer you are to advanced fluency. Let's continue. When you're having a casual chat in English, you'll also need small fillers. The words native speakers use to think while they're speaking. Phrases like, "you know," "I mean," "well," "actually," or "let me think." These are essential for sounding smooth and natural. Let's practice them with meaning. If someone asks, "Why did you choose that restaurant?" you can say, "Well, I just really like the atmosphere there." If you're explaining something, say, "You know, it's one of those places that just feels cozy and calm." If you want to clarify, say, "I mean, it's nothing fancy, but it's nice." And if you're thinking, use "let me think" to buy time naturally. Repeat after me now. "Well, you know, I mean, actually, let me think." These are not just empty words. They show confidence and control. Without them, your English might sound too direct or mechanical. With them, your sentences flow like a native speaker's rhythm. Let's create a short practice exercise. Imagine you're describing your favorite movie to a friend. You could say, "Well, it's a bit old, but it's really good." You know, the story just stays with you. I mean, it's emotional, but not too heavy. Now, repeat that out loud, copying the tone. Feel the pauses, the small breaks, the natural thinking sounds. That's how real people speak English every day. Now, let's shift to another group of daily life phrases, polite expressions that you can use anywhere in advanced English. Being polite doesn't mean being overly formal. It means sounding subtle, respectful, and kind. Instead of saying, "Give me that," you can say, "Could you pass me that, please?" Instead of, "I want water," say, "Could I get some water, please?" Or instead of, "Wait," say, "Just a second, please." These softeners make your English sound natural and pleasant. Repeat with me now, slowly. Could you pass me that, please? Could I get some water, please? Just a second, please. Even at work or in professional settings, these small changes make a big difference. For example, "Would you mind sending me the file? If it's okay, could we talk later? Thanks a lot for your help." Now, let's turn them into a practice dialogue. You say, "Hi, could I get a glass of water, please?" The waiter replies, "Of course." You say, "Thanks a lot." Or, at work, "Would you mind checking this report for me?" Your colleague says, "Sure, I'll take a look." You say, "Thanks, I really appreciate it." Practice that again with emotion. Try to feel the kindness in your tone. Fluency isn't just about grammar, it's about the attitude behind your words. Now, let's explore phrases for showing understanding or continuing a conversation when you didn't quite hear something. In real life, people speak quickly, and sometimes you miss a word. Instead of just saying, "What?" use softer forms like, "Sorry. Could you say that again?" Or, "I didn't quite catch that." Let's repeat together. "Sorry. Could you say that again?" "I didn't quite catch that." These phrases make your listening and speaking interactions sound natural and polite. Here's a short conversation example. Someone says, "So, what time are we meeting tomorrow?" You didn't hear clearly, so you say, "Sorry, could you say that again?" They repeat, "What time are we meeting tomorrow?" You reply, "Oh, right, around 10, I think." Simple, polite, and fluent. Now, let's practice one more important group. Phrases that help you end conversations smoothly. Ending a talk is also part of being fluent. It's not always easy to say goodbye naturally, but there are many subtle ways to do it. Instead of just bye, try, "It was nice talking to you. Let's catch up soon. Talk to you later." Or, "Take care." Repeat with me slowly. "It was nice talking to you. Let's catch up soon. Talk to you later. Take care." These phrases help you sound warm and natural at the end of any conversation. Let's try them in a short situation. You finish a meeting and say, "All right, I think that's everything for today. It was nice talking to you. Take care." Or you're on a call with a friend. "Okay, I've got to go now, but let's catch up soon." Practice those lines a few times until they sound smooth and natural. Now, let's combine everything we've learned so far into a short interactive exercise. Imagine you meet a friend at a cafe after a long time. I'll say the other person's lines, and you respond using the phrases we've learned today. Your friend says, "Hey, it's been so long." You respond, "Yeah, it's been ages. It's so nice to see you again." They say, "I just started a new job last month." You say, "Oh, really? That's great. Good for you." They say, "It's been pretty stressful, though." You say, "Yeah, I see what you mean." They say, "But the team is really supportive." You say, "That makes sense." It's always easier when the people around you are kind. They say, "We should definitely meet up more often." You say, "Absolutely. Let's catch up soon." That's a perfect, natural flow, small, realistic, and emotionally connected phrases. These are the building blocks of fluent communication. Remember, the more you practice, the more these phrases become automatic. You don't need to translate or overthink it. Your brain will start using them naturally because they're stored as chunks, not as individual words. Now, take a deep breath and say to yourself softly, "I can speak English naturally. I can use daily phrases confidently. I'm improving every day." Confidence starts with the belief that you can express yourself, even with simple phrases. The goal isn't perfection, it's connection. In the next section, we'll continue expanding these ideas and learn how to use advanced linking phrases, expressions that help you connect ideas smoothly and sound more natural in every situation. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful tools in advanced English speaking, linking phrases. These are the little expressions that help your sentences flow together, making your speech sound natural and connected. Instead of sounding broken or robotic, think about how native English speakers connect their thoughts in conversation. They don't just stop after every idea. They say things like, "By the way," "as I was saying," "speaking of," "actually," "on the other hand," or "that reminds me." These are the phrases that make conversations feel alive and logical. So, let's explore them together, one by one, with natural examples you can use in your daily life. Imagine you're talking about your weekend and you suddenly remember something else you want to share. You can say, "Oh, by the way, I watched that movie you recommended." It's natural, smooth, and conversational. Repeat after me. By the way, oh, by the way. Use it when you want to add something extra or slightly change the topic. Now, if you're continuing an earlier idea after being interrupted, you can say, "As I was saying," it helps bring the conversation back to your main point. For example, "As I was saying, it's really important to practice every day if you want to stay fluent." Repeat with me. "As I was saying." Here's another one. Speaking of, use this when you want to link what the other person said to something related. For instance, if someone mentions travel, you can say, "Speaking of travel, I'm planning to visit Italy next month." Repeat again. "Speaking of." These connecting phrases help your thoughts flow like a river. Smooth, natural, continuous. Now, let's use a few of them together in a mini conversation practice. You say, "I met Emma yesterday." Your friend replies, "Oh, really? How's she doing?" You say, "She's great. By the way, she started a new job in London." Your friend says, "Oh, wow, that's amazing." You respond, "Yeah, as I was saying earlier, she's been working really hard." Your friend says, "Speaking of hard work, you've been super busy too, right? See how it flows? You don't even really notice where one topic ends and another begins." That's what makes English sound fluent and natural. Now, let's look at another group of connectors, contrasting phrases like however, even though, on the other hand, and at the same time. These help you express more advanced thoughts by comparing, contrasting, or showing two sides of something. For example, I love working from home. However, it can get a bit lonely sometimes. Or, I enjoy watching movies at home, but on the other hand, going to the cinema feels more exciting. Repeat slowly with me. However, on the other hand, even though, at the same time. Now, try to make your own sentences aloud. For instance, I love coffee. However, I try not to drink too much. Or, I like big cities. But on the other hand, I also enjoy quiet villages. Practice expressing contrast in a calm tone, not too fast, not too formal, just a natural conversational speed. Let's now focus on transition phrases for adding information. These are like bridges that let your ideas flow together. You can use in addition, besides, also, or what's more. Imagine you're describing your morning routine. I usually start my day with coffee. In addition, I listen to a short English podcast. I like reading in the morning. Besides, it helps me stay focused. I enjoy learning English every day. What's more, it makes me feel confident. Repeat with me. In addition. Besides. What's more? Now, let's practice a daily life example. You're telling a friend about how you've been improving your English. I've been watching more English videos lately. Besides, I try to speak with my colleagues in English. Your friend says, "That's a great idea." You say, "Yeah. And what's more, I record myself speaking to check my pronunciation." These little connectors make your English sound advanced. Not because they're complicated, but because they're natural and logical. Now, let's do a reflection exercise. Think about how you could describe your own day using linking phrases. For example, I woke up early today. After that, I made breakfast. Then, I listened to an English lesson. Later on, I went for a walk. Now, try saying it again, but connecting it smoothly. I woke up early today, and after that, I made breakfast. Then I listened to an English lesson. Later on, I went for a walk. Now, make it sound even more advanced. I woke up early today. After making breakfast, I listened to an English lesson. Later on, I went for a walk to clear my mind. Can you feel how natural that rhythm becomes? That's the secret of advanced fluency. Not bigger words, but a smoother flow. Let's take this a little further. To sound more fluent, we also use phrases that show cause and effect, like so, that's why, as a result, because of that, and therefore. For example, I was really tired, so I went to bed early. I didn't study yesterday. That's why I'm revising now. I practiced English every day. As a result, I became more confident. I listened to more English podcasts. Therefore, my listening improved. Repeat these lines softly with me. Feel the flow between the cause and the effect. Now, imagine you're explaining your own progress in English. You could say, I started learning English consistently. And as a result, I feel more confident when I speak. Now try that again, but this time without reading. Make it your own sentence about your journey. Pause for a few seconds. Think about what you could say. Maybe, I used to be shy, but I practiced every day, and now I can talk with anyone in English. Yes, that's the kind of natural emotional expression that really brings your English to life. Let's now move to time connectors, which help organize your ideas and make your stories sound clear. Use at first, then, after that, later, eventually, and finally. For example, at first, I didn't understand much English. Then, I started listening more. After that, I began speaking with confidence. Eventually, I could think in English. Finally, I reached fluency. Repeat that story with me slowly. Feel how the time connectors guide your listener through your journey. At first, pause, then pause, after that, pause, later, pause, eventually, pause, finally. That's exactly how fluent speakers tell stories, one thought flowing into another. Now, let's try a mini storytelling exercise together. I'll start, and you can fill in your own ideas as you repeat aloud. At first, I was nervous about speaking English. Then, I started practicing with short sentences. After that, I began using new phrases every day. Later, I noticed people understanding me better. Eventually, I stopped translating in my head. Finally, I felt confident and natural. Beautiful. That's your English story. Your real-life progress, step by step. You see, fluency isn't about speed. It's about flow. And that flow comes from connecting your thoughts with small linking words that make your speech feel continuous and meaningful. Before we move on, let's take a short speaking challenge. I'll give you a few simple sentences, and you'll try to connect them naturally using what we've learned. Ready? Let's begin. I woke up late. I missed my bus. I was tired at work. Now say it again, fluently connected. I woke up late, so I missed my bus. And because of that, I was tired at work. Next one. I started reading more. My vocabulary improved. I feel more confident now. Try it. I started reading more. And as a result, my vocabulary improved. That's why I feel more confident now. Excellent. Every time you practice like this, your English rhythm becomes smoother and your confidence grows. So, from now on, don't just memorize phrases. Connect them. Think in full, flowing sentences that tell a story, express emotion, and link your thoughts naturally. You are not just learning English, you're building the habit of speaking smoothly, confidently, and clearly, just like a fluent English speaker. Now, let's go even deeper into the kind of phrases that make your English sound confident, polite, and emotionally intelligent. These are expressions that help you respond naturally in conversations, not just with words, but with feeling and tone. Think about the last time you had to disagree politely with someone. Many learners feel nervous in those moments because they don't know how to disagree without sounding rude or uncomfortable. But in English, there are many subtle, friendly ways to express a different opinion. Instead of saying, "No, that's wrong," try, "I see what you mean, but," or "That's a good point, though, I think," or "I understand your view. However," these simple connectors make your disagreement sound respectful and fluent. Let's repeat a few slowly together. I see what you mean. But, that's a good point. Though, I think, I understand your view. However, now, imagine this situation. Your colleague says, "I think we should cancel the meeting." You could reply, "I see what you mean, but maybe we should wait until tomorrow to decide." Or, if a friend says, "Watching TV helps me learn English," you could say, "That's a good point, though. I think speaking practice helps even more." Try to say those sentences out loud. Feel the calm and polite tone behind them. That's advanced English. Confident, but kind. Here's a little speaking exercise for you. I'll give you a sentence, and you'll respond politely using one of these disagreement phrases. I'll say, "I think grammar is the only thing that really matters in English." You say, "I see what you mean, but vocabulary and practice are just as important." I'll say, "You should only speak English when you're perfect." You say, "That's a good point, though. I think learning happens through mistakes." Excellent. You're learning how to sound mature, respectful, and fluent all at the same time. Now, let's shift our focus to another aspect of daily communication, showing appreciation and gratitude. Fluency isn't just about being accurate, it's also about having the right attitude. When you express gratitude in a natural way, it fosters warmth and connection in your conversations. Of course, you're already familiar with thank you. However, fluent speakers employ a variety of expressions, depending on the situation. For example, "Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. That means a lot to me. You've been so helpful." And "That's so kind of you." Let's say these together slowly. "Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. That means a lot to me. You've been so helpful." And "That's so kind of you." Now, picture yourself in everyday situations. A friend assists you in moving something heavy. You say, "Thanks a lot. That's so kind of you." A coworker helps you with a task. You say, "I really appreciate your help today." Someone compliments you. You might respond, "Thank you. That means a lot to me." Now, let's move on to how we respond to thanks in a natural and genuine way. Instead of simply saying, "You're welcome," try using phrases like, "No problem," "Anytime," "My pleasure," or "Don't mention it." Repeat these softly with me. No problem. Anytime. My pleasure. Don't mention it. These short responses sound warm and natural. For instance, if someone says, "Thanks for helping me out," you can reply, "No problem at all." Or if someone says, "I appreciate your time," you can respond, "My pleasure." If someone thanks you for listening, you could say, "Anytime." Practice these exchanges until they become automatic. This is how you begin to think in English, responding without needing to translate. Now, let's work on fostering emotional connection through phrases that express encouragement and positivity. You can use these to motivate others or even yourself. Repeat after me. You're doing great. Keep it up. Don't give up. You've got this. I'm proud of you. And believe in yourself. These phrases may seem simple, but they're the heart and soul of everyday spoken English. Warm, uplifting, and authentic. Let's practice them in context. A friend says, "I'm nervous about my English test." You respond, "Don't worry, you've got this." Your coworker says, "I'm trying to improve my presentation skills." You say, "Keep it up, you're improving every day." Someone says, "I made a mistake while speaking." You respond kindly, "That's okay, everyone makes mistakes. You're doing great." Now, turn those phrases toward yourself for a moment. Whisper them to yourself. I'm doing great. I'm improving every day. I can speak English with confidence. That small self-talk is powerful. It trains your brain to believe in your growth, and that belief fuels fluency. Now, let's delve into everyday conversation phrases that help you show curiosity. Phrases that help you ask questions in a friendly and sophisticated way. Instead of just asking why or what, use these gentler, more natural options. How come? What made you decide that? I was wondering, could you tell me a bit more about that? Or, what's that like? Repeat after me. How come? What made you decide that? I was wondering, could you tell me a bit more about that? What's that like? Now, imagine you're talking to a friend who just moved to another city. You ask, how come you decided to move? Or, what's life like there? Or your coworker mentions they've started learning Spanish. You say, that's interesting. What made you decide to learn Spanish? These phrases make your question sound less like an interrogation and more like genuine interest. You're not just questioning, you're connecting. Now, let's practice using them together in a realistic scene. You say, hey, I heard you started working out again. Your friend replies, yeah, I joined a new gym last week. You say, oh, that's great. What made you decide to join? Your friend says, I just wanted to feel healthier. You say, good for you. What's it like there? You see how each phrase keeps the conversation alive? It's smooth, natural, and full of curiosity and warmth. Now, let's explore another advanced habit that fluent speakers have, using confirmation phrases to make sure everyone is on the same page. You can use phrases like, so, you mean? Let me get this straight. If I understand you correctly. Or, in other words, for example, someone says, I'll be late because my car broke down. You reply, so, you mean you might not make it to the meeting on time. Or if a teacher explains something complicated, you can say, let me get this straight. You're saying we only need to submit one report, right? Repeat after me slowly. So, you mean? Let me get this straight. If I understand you correctly. In other words, these are natural, intelligent ways to show that you're listening attentively. They also make your English sound more confident and professional. Let's practice them in a quick dialogue. Your colleague says, "We're moving the meeting from Monday to Wednesday." You say, "So, you mean there's no meeting on Monday anymore?" They respond, "Exactly." You say, "Got it. Thanks for letting me know." Perfect. That's the rhythm of real English communication. Short, polite, and clear. Now, let's take on a small speaking challenge. I'll describe a situation, and you respond using any phrase we've learned so far. You meet someone new at work. What can you say? Maybe, "Nice to meet you. How's your first week going?" Someone gives you good news. How can you respond? Try, "That's amazing. I'm so happy for you." Someone thanks you for your help. How do you reply? Say, "No problem. Anytime." Someone shares a different opinion. What can you say? "I see what you mean, but I have a slightly different view." Each response builds your English muscles. The more you use them, the stronger your fluency becomes. Now, let's conclude this section with a brief reflection exercise. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and imagine yourself speaking English fluently and confidently. You walk into a room, greet people naturally, respond politely, express yourself clearly, and leave the conversation with a smile. That image in your mind isn't just imagination. It's a preview of your future self. Every phrase you're learning today is taking you one step closer to that version of you. You're not just memorizing sentences, you're building habits, emotions, and rhythms that will stay with you for life. So, keep repeating these daily phrases. Use them when you text, when you talk to friends, when you think to yourself. Every small practice moment adds up to massive improvement. You're doing amazing so far. Keep going. And remember, fluency is built one phrase at a time. Let's keep going because we're now going to explore one of the most powerful skills in English communication: small talk. Small talk is not small in its importance. It's a huge part of sounding fluent, confident, and friendly in daily life. It's what helps you connect with people naturally, without pressure, in advanced English. Small talk isn't about deep conversations. It's about creating comfort. It's how you initiate communication in cafes, offices, elevators, meetings, or even while waiting for something. Let's begin with simple, realistic examples. When you meet someone, instead of just saying, "Hello," try something warmer like, "Hi, how's your day going?" Or, "Hey, how have you been?" Or, "Good to see you again." These small differences immediately make your English feel friendly and approachable. Repeat after me softly. How's your day going? How have you been? Good to see you again. Now, imagine you're at work and you meet a colleague in the morning. You could say, "Morning, how's everything?" Or, "Hey, hope your day is starting well." And if someone asks you, "How's your day going?" you can respond naturally with phrases like, "Pretty good so far." "Can't complain." "It's been busy but good." Or, "Same old, same old." Repeat after me again. "Pretty good so far." "Can't complain." "It's been busy but good." "Same old, same old." These are real, everyday answers that you'll hear from native speakers all the time. They're short, relaxed, and full of rhythm. Let's practice a short small talk scene. You say, "Hey, how's your day going?" Your friend replies, "Pretty good so far. How about you?" You say, "Can't complain. It's been a long morning, though." You see how natural that flow is? It's simple, but that's exactly what fluency sounds like. Not memorized, just natural and human. Now, small talk often includes talking about the weather, plans, or daily life. Topics that are safe and familiar. For example, you can say, "It's such a nice day today, isn't it? Feels like it's going to rain. It's been really cold lately. This week's going by so fast." Now repeat after me with natural rhythm. "Such a nice day today, isn't it? Feels like it's going to rain. It's been really cold lately. This week's going by so fast." Now imagine adding your opinion or emotion after it. "It's such a nice day today, isn't it? Perfect for a walk." Or, "Feels like it's going to rain. I love that cozy feeling." That's what brings warmth and personality to your English. Let's try another practice dialogue. You're waiting in line somewhere. The person next to you says, "The weather's been crazy lately." You can reply, "Yeah, tell me about it. It's so unpredictable these days." Or, someone says, "Can't believe how hot it is." You can say, "I know, right? It feels like summer came early." Those small reactions. "Tell me about it." "I know, right?" Exactly. Are essential in fluent English. They make your conversations feel alive, connected, and friendly. Now, let's move into another part of small talk, talking about plans and time. Here are some phrases you can use in daily life. What are you up to this weekend? Got any plans after work? How's your week looking? I'm thinking of relaxing tonight. I might go out with some friends. Repeat these softly with me. What are you up to this weekend? Got any plans after work? How's your week looking? I'm thinking of relaxing tonight. I might go out with some friends. These are perfect to start or continue small talk naturally. Now, let's do a mini exercise. Imagine you're talking to a friend on Friday afternoon. You. "Hey, got any plans for the weekend?" Friend. "Not really. I might just stay home and rest." You. "Sounds good. You deserve a break." Simple, warm, natural. That's exactly what you should aim for in daily English. Now, let's go one level deeper, learning how to show genuine interest in someone's life. This is what makes your English not just fluent, but meaningful. Phrases like, "How's everything going with you?" "How's work these days?" "How's the family?" "What have you been up to lately?" Or, "It's been a while. How have you been?" help you sound caring and connected. Repeat these softly. How's everything going with you? How's work these days? What have you been up to lately? It's been a while. How have you been? Now, let's practice a friendly conversation. You. "Hey, it's been a while. How have you been?" Friend. "Pretty good, just busy with work." You. "Yeah, I know the feeling. Work's been nonstop for me, too." And that's all it takes. Small talk with warmth and emotion. Remember, fluent English isn't only about perfect grammar, it's about human rhythm, knowing when to ask, when to listen, and when to respond softly. Now, Let's shift a bit and learn how to move from small talk to meaningful talk smoothly. When a conversation starts with light topics and you want to go a bit deeper, you can use transition phrases like, "Speaking of that, that reminds me. Actually, I've been thinking about," or "Funny you mentioned that." For example, someone says, "I've been working a lot lately." You can say, "Yeah. Speaking of work, have you ever thought about changing jobs?" Or a friend says, "I watched a movie last night." You say, "Oh, funny you mentioned that. I just watched a really good one, too." These are gentle, natural bridges that move your conversation forward. Now, let's practice a few mini dialogues. Friend, I'm thinking of going on vacation soon. You, that reminds me, I still need to renew my passport. Colleague, I've been drinking more coffee lately. You, actually, I've been trying to cut back on it. Friend, I joined a cooking class. You, oh, really? Funny you mentioned that. I just tried cooking something new yesterday. Now, repeat these aloud at your own pace, feeling the rhythm of conversation as it flows. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on what's happening here. Every time you use a connecting phrase or reaction, you're doing something powerful. You're thinking in English. You're not translating from your native language. You're responding emotionally, directly, and instantly. That's what fluency really is. It's not about speed, it's about connection and comfort. Now, let's go through a short self-practice segment. I'll give you some prompts, and you'll imagine yourself answering naturally. Prompt 1. Hey, how's your week been? Your response could be, pretty good, just a bit busy. Prompt 2. It's been raining all day. Your response could be, yeah, tell me about it. It hasn't stopped since morning. Prompt 3. Got any plans for tonight? You might say, not much. I think I'll just relax at home. Prompt 4. It's good to see you again. You respond, good to see you too. It's been ages. Each small exchange is a chance to practice fluency, to make your mind react naturally in English. And remember, small talk isn't small progress. Every time you start a chat, greet someone, or make a little comment, you're building your confidence. You're training your brain to use English without overthinking. So, from now on, try to notice opportunities to start small conversations at the store, in class, at work, or online. Use one of today's phrases naturally, even just once a day. That's all it takes to move from learning English to living English. Now that you've learned how to use small talk naturally, let's explore how to keep a conversation going once it starts. Many English learners can start a conversation, but they often struggle to continue it. They run out of things to say or worry about sounding boring. The secret is to build on what the other person says, to keep the rhythm alive with curiosity, reactions, and shared experiences. Let's imagine this together. Someone says, I went hiking last weekend. Instead of just saying, oh, nice, you can respond in a way that keeps the talk alive. That sounds amazing. Where did you go? Or, really, I've always wanted to try hiking. How was it? See how these questions invite the person to share more. That's how you create natural flow in English. Repeat after me. That sounds amazing. Where did you go? How was it? I've always wanted to try that. Now, let's practice more examples. Someone says, I watched a new series on Netflix. You can reply, Oh, really? What's it about? Or, nice. Was it good? Someone says, I just started learning guitar. You can respond, That's so cool. How long have you been playing? Someone says, I tried cooking a new recipe. You could say, That's great. What did you make? Notice how you're not just reacting, you're inviting. That's what fluent speakers do. They keep conversations open by asking simple, emotional questions that make others feel heard and comfortable. Let's do a speaking challenge together. I'll say a sentence, and you imagine your natural follow-up question. I say, I'm planning a trip next month. You might respond, Oh, nice. Where are you going? I say, I've been feeling a bit tired lately. You could respond, Oh, no. Have you been getting enough rest? I say, I've been learning English for 3 years now. You might say, That's great. What's helped you the most? Perfect. You're learning how to sound engaged and natural, not just polite, but emotionally connected. Now, sometimes in a conversation, you'll need to show surprise, empathy, or emotion to make your words sound alive. Native speakers do this with short, expressive phrases like, Oh, wow, that's incredible. Really? That must be tough. Good for you. Or, That's so funny. Let's repeat a few together. Oh, wow, that's incredible. Really? That must be tough. Good for you. That's so funny. Now let's use them in short examples. A friend says, I finally got a promotion. You respond, Oh, wow, congratulations, that's amazing. Someone says, I woke up at 5 a.m. to go running. You reply, Really? That's so early. Good for you. Another friend says, I lost my phone yesterday. You respond, Oh, no, that must be tough. These small emotional reactions keep your speech full of energy and warmth. Now, let's talk about how to share your own experiences naturally, something that's key to fluency. You don't need long stories, you just need structure and rhythm. Try using this simple flow, context, plus detail, plus feeling. For example, last night I tried a new restaurant near my house. The food was amazing, and the atmosphere was so cozy. I think I'll go again next week. Or, I started reading a new English book. It's a bit difficult, but I'm enjoying it. Or, I went jogging this morning. The weather was so fresh. It felt great. Now try creating your own example out loud. Think about something small you did today, maybe drinking your morning coffee, watching a video, or finishing some work, and describe it using that pattern. What you did, a little detail, and how you felt. Pause for a few seconds and practice that now. Excellent. That's how fluent English feels. Calm, clear, and full of life. Now, let's look at another type of phrase, clarifying and confirming phrases that help keep conversations smooth. When you need to make sure you understood something, instead of repeating the same words, you can say, So, you mean? Just to be clear, If I got that right? Are you saying that? Let me make sure I understand. Let's practice them one by one. So, you mean? Just to be clear, if I got that right, are you saying that? Let me make sure I understand. Now imagine you're in a conversation. Someone says, "We'll move the meeting to Friday instead of Thursday." You can respond, "Just to be clear, that's this Friday, right?" Or someone says, "I'll bring the document later." You can say, "So you mean after lunch?" These tiny details make your communication sound professional and careful. You're confirming politely instead of sounding confused. Let's also look at how fluent speakers give their opinions smoothly. They don't just say, "I think," over and over. They vary it with natural alternatives like, "in my opinion." From my point of view, if you ask me, to be honest, and personally, I feel that. Repeat softly with me, "in my opinion." From my point of view, if you ask me, to be honest, personally, I feel that. Now practice them in real sentences. In my opinion, listening practice is more important than grammar drills. From my point of view, confidence comes from daily repetition. If you ask me, learning through real examples is the best way. To be honest, I sometimes get nervous speaking too. Personally, I feel that watching English shows helps a lot. Now, say one about your own life using one of those phrases. For example, "To be honest, I learn best when I speak aloud." Or, personally, "I feel that writing every day helps me remember new words." That's real fluency, expressing your own thoughts comfortably in English. Now, let's practice moving between agreement and disagreement naturally. When someone says something you partly agree with, you can use, "That's true, but I agree to some extent." "You have a point, though." Or, "I'm not sure I completely agree." Repeat slowly with me. "That's true, but I agree to some extent." "You have a point, though." "I'm not sure I completely agree." Let's use these in many examples. Friend, watching movies is enough to learn English. You, that's true. But I think speaking practice is also important. Colleague, grammar isn't important at all. You, I agree to some extent, though it still helps to understand the basics. Friend, everyone should learn a second language. You have a point, though not everyone gets the same opportunity. See how gentle and balanced those sound? That's what makes your English feel advanced and natural. Now, let's practice using phrases for giving suggestions and advice. Instead of saying, "you should," you can soften it with, "maybe you could." "Have you tried?" "It might be a good idea to." Or, "You might want to." For example, maybe you could watch short videos every day to improve your listening. Have you tried keeping a small notebook for new words? It might be a good idea to practice shadowing out loud. You might want to listen to slow English audio before sleeping. Repeat these softly. Maybe you could. Have you tried? It might be a good idea to. You might want to. These gentle phrases sound polite, supportive, and encouraging, exactly how a fluent speaker would express advice. Let's do a short reflection exercise. Now, think of one English learner you know, maybe a friend or even yourself, and give a piece of advice using one of today's phrases. Maybe, have you tried speaking with yourself in the mirror? Or, you might want to listen to English music to pick up rhythm. Or, it might be a good idea to record your own voice to track progress. See how natural it sounds? You're not commanding, you're guiding. That's the beauty of fluent English. It's both kind and confident. Now, take a deep breath. You've already learned how to agree, disagree, show curiosity, express emotion, and give advice. These are the real tools of everyday communication. And here's something very important. When you use all of these phrases together, you stop studying English and start living it. Your goal is not to remember every single word, but to build the habit of responding in English naturally. So, the next time someone talks to you, listen carefully. Don't translate in your head. Just respond with something small and natural like, "Yeah, I get what you mean. That's interesting." Or, "I totally understand." Every time you do that, you are practicing real fluency. Now that you've learned how to express ideas and feelings clearly, let's explore something equally powerful: how to sound natural in everyday English through rhythm, pauses, and filler expressions that make your speech feel alive and confident. You see, native speakers don't always speak perfectly or in complete sentences. They use pauses, small words, and sounds like, "well," "you know," and "actually," and "so" to give their brain time to think. These aren't mistakes. They're part of the natural music of English conversation. For example, if someone asks, "What do you think about learning English online?" You might say, "Well, I think it's great because you can learn anywhere." Or if someone says, "Do you like watching movies in English?" You could respond, "Yeah, actually, I do. It really helps with pronunciation." Let's repeat those softly. "Well, actually, you know." So, these are gentle connectors that make your English sound smooth and effortless. Let's do a small practice exercise. I'll give you a few questions, and you'll answer naturally using one of these fillers at the start. Question 1. Do you study English every day? You can answer, "Well, I try to. Some days are harder than others." Question 2. Do you like learning through videos? You could say, "Yeah, actually I do. It keeps things interesting." Question 3. Do you think English grammar is important? Try, "You know, I think grammar matters, but practice matters more." That's the sound of real conversation. Relaxed, thoughtful, and genuine. Now, let's talk about another important feature of fluent English: intonation. That's how your voice rises and falls naturally when you speak. Intonation shows emotion and makes your words sound alive. For instance, when you ask a question, like, "Really?" your voice goes up slightly at the end. When you show understanding by saying, I see, your tone drops a bit to show calmness. When you say, that's amazing, your tone rises with excitement. Practicing these tones helps you come across as expressive and confident. So, let's try a few of them together. Say softly, really? With a rising tone? I see. With a falling tone. That's amazing. With a rising tone. Oh, that's too bad. With a soft, low tone. When you train your ear to recognize tone and rhythm, you'll notice how English carries emotion through sound, not just through the words themselves. Now, let's take a look at some advanced conversation habits, specifically how to change topics smoothly and how to end conversations politely. Sometimes you need to move from one subject to another without sounding abrupt or awkward. You can use phrases like, anyway, by the way, speaking of which, or that reminds me. For example, anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. Or, speaking of travel, I've always wanted to visit Japan. Repeat after me softly. Anyway, by the way. Speaking of which, that reminds me. Now, when you want to end a conversation, don't just say, bye. Instead, use friendly closing phrases such as, it was great talking to you. Let's talk again soon. I'll catch you later. Take care. Or, have a good one. Practice them now and put some emotion into it. It was great talking to you. Let's talk again soon. I'll catch you later. Take care. These soft endings help your English sound polite, natural, and mature. Let's see how they sound in a full conversation. You. Anyway, I should probably get going soon, friend. Yeah, me too. It was great talking to you. You. Same here. Let's catch up again sometime. Beautiful. Calm. Fluent. That's exactly how English conversations flow in real life. Now, let's add one more layer. Reactive phrases that show you're emotionally present in the conversation. Phrases like, I know what you mean. Exactly. Totally. That's so true. Right. And tell me about it. Show empathy and shared understanding. Repeat them with me. I know what you mean. Exactly. Totally. That's so true. Right. Tell me about it. Now, let's see how they appear in real-life conversations. Your friend says, learning English can be exhausting sometimes. You say, tell me about it, someone says. It's hard to find time to practice. You reply, I know what you mean. A coworker says, speaking every day really helps. You say, exactly. Practice makes progress. Notice how these phrases make you sound connected and genuine, like someone who's emotionally part of the moment. Let's move into something deeper, expressing feelings and emotions. When you talk about how you feel, you become more relatable and human in English. Instead of saying, I'm happy, you can say, I'm really glad about that. Or, that made my day. Instead of, I'm sad, say, I feel down today. Or, it's been a rough day. For excitement, use, I'm thrilled, I'm so excited, this is amazing. For disappointment, use, I'm a bit upset. That's disappointing. Or, I was hoping for better. Let's practice these with feeling. Try saying them out loud. I'm really glad about that. That made my day. It's been a rough day. I'm thrilled. That's disappointing. I was hoping for better. When you say these lines with emotion, you train your voice to match your meaning. That's emotional fluency. Now, let's combine emotion with connection. Imagine this short scene. You tell a friend, I finally finished my big project. Friend says, that's amazing. You must feel so relieved. You say, yeah, I'm thrilled. It was a lot of work, but totally worth it. That's real communication, full of warmth, tone, and humanity. Now let's move to expressing opinions and preferences naturally. Instead of saying only, I like or I don't like, you can vary your expressions. Try these. I'm really into. I'm not a big fan of. I prefer. I'm crazy about. I can't stand. I'd rather. Repeat with me. I'm really into. I'm not a big fan of. I prefer. I'm crazy about. I can't stand. I'd rather. Now, some examples. I'm really into learning new languages lately. I'm not a big fan of spicy food. I prefer morning walks to evening ones. I'm crazy about photography. I can't stand waiting in long lines. I'd rather stay home tonight. Now, make your own small sentence out loud using one of these patterns. Try one about food, music, movies, or hobbies. Each time you say it, your fluency strengthens because you're connecting English with your real feelings. Now, let's talk about responding to compliments politely. Another important daily skill. If someone says, your English is really good, you can reply, thank you, that means a lot. Or, I appreciate that. Or even, I'm still learning, but thank you. If someone says, I like your accent, you can say, that's kind of you to say. Let's repeat a few softly. Thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate that. That's kind of you to say. I'm still learning, but thank you. When you respond this way, you show both humility and confidence, a perfect mix for sounding fluent and friendly. Now, let's bring together everything you've learned so far into a reflection exercise. Take a moment and think about your day. How many of today's phrases can you use naturally in your next conversation? Maybe start with, how's your day going? Or, that sounds great. Or even, I've been practicing English a lot lately. The more you speak like this, the more automatic it becomes. Remember, fluency isn't just about vocabulary, it's about connection, tone, emotion, and rhythm. You are already developing all of these by practicing these everyday phrases with me. So, keep repeating them aloud, keep feeling them, and keep imagining yourself using them in real life. That's how fluency takes root in your mind. You're doing wonderfully so far. Let's keep building this natural flow step by step, because by the end of this session, you'll not only know these phrases, you'll own them. Let's continue our fluency journey together, because now I want you to start feeling how English becomes part of your thinking, not just something you study, but something you live every day. When you speak English naturally, you don't think about grammar rules or translation. You focus on the message, on the rhythm, on the feeling of connection with another person. That's what these everyday phrases help you build. Confidence and flow in real conversation. Let's explore some more useful expressions that make your communication sound clear and advanced. The kind that native speakers use without realizing how powerful they are. Let's start with time phrases, little expressions that describe when something happens, because they help structure your storytelling naturally. Instead of saying only yesterday or tomorrow, you can use phrases like the other day, a while ago, in a bit, later on, before long, or back then. For example, I met her the other day at the cafe. I'll call you in a bit. Before long, you'll be fluent. Back then, I didn't know a single English phrase. Repeat these softly with me. The other day, a while ago, in a bit, later on, before long, back then. These time phrases add life and variety to your speech. They make your English sound natural, not robotic. Now, let's talk about conditional phrases, expressions that describe possible situations or hopes. You already know if, but fluent speakers use many soft variations, like as long as, in case, even if, provided that, or unless. Let's see how they sound in real use. You'll improve fast as long as you practice daily. Take an umbrella in case it rains. Even if it's difficult, keep going. You can join provided that you finish your homework first. I won't stop learning unless I reach fluency. Now repeat those slowly after me. As long as, in case, even if, provided that, unless. Each of these connectors gives your speech depth. They show cause, condition, and reasoning, which are signs of advanced fluency. Now, let's focus on something practical, phrases for expressing uncertainty or possibility. Because in real life, we don't always know the answer, right? Instead of saying, I don't know, try one of these softer options. I'm not sure. Maybe. It could be. I guess so. It depends. I'll have to check. Repeat them with me gently. I'm not sure. Maybe. It could be. I guess so. It depends. I'll have to check. Now, let's put these in a short example. Friend, are you free tomorrow? You, I'm not sure. I might have some work. Coworker, do you think it'll rain today? You, maybe. It depends on the forecast. These soft answers make your English sound polite and realistic, just like everyday speech. Now, let's practice something every fluent speaker does all the time, reacting to new information. When someone tells you something surprising or unexpected, you can respond naturally with phrases like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Is that so? That's interesting. Really?" Or, "Good to know." Repeat after me softly. "Oh, I didn't know that. Is that so? That's interesting. Really? Good to know." These reactions show engagement. They keep your tone friendly and alive. Here's a small exercise for you. I'll say something, and you respond with one of these phrases. I say, "Did you know English has more than 1,000,000 words?" You say, "Oh, I didn't know that." I say, "Coffee was discovered over 1,000 years ago." You say, "That's interesting." I say, "The word okay is understood almost everywhere in the world." You say, "Really? Good to know." See, simple reactions make conversations flow beautifully. Now, let's talk about phrases that help you manage conversations professionally. These are great for meetings, group discussions, or polite conversations. For example, when you want to share your opinion, say, "If I may add something," or "from my experience." When you want to politely interrupt, say, "Sorry to interrupt, but," or "Can I just say something here?" When you want to agree diplomatically, say, I think you're absolutely right. Or, that's a very good point. Repeat them with me softly. If I may add something from my experience, sorry to interrupt, but can I just say something here? That's a very good point. These phrases are especially useful if you use English for work or study. They make your tone respectful and confident at the same time. Let's practice a short professional scene. You're in a meeting, and someone says, we should focus more on online marketing. You respond, that's a very good point. If I may add something, we could also improve our website. Or someone says, we don't have enough feedback yet. You can say, I totally agree. And from my experience, collecting feedback early really helps. See how polite and fluent that sounds? That's the balance between clarity and respect that makes advanced English communication shine. Now, let's relax a little and learn phrasal expressions for daily life. Those combinations of verbs and prepositions that make you sound like a native speaker. Let's practice a few useful ones. Wake up, to get out of bed. I wake up at 7 every day. Get along with, to have a good relationship. I get along with my colleagues really well. Run out of, to have no more of something. We ran out of coffee. Look after, to take care of someone. I look after my little sister. Turn down, to reject or lower something. I turn down the volume. Figure out, to solve or understand something. I finally figured out the answer. Repeat each one softly. Wake up. Get along with. Run out of. Look after. Turn down. Figure out. Now, let's use them in short everyday scenes. You. I ran out of milk this morning. Friend. Oh, no, me too. I'll get some later. You. I finally figured out how to use that app. Friend. Nice. Took me forever to learn that. You. I get along with my coworkers really well. Friend. That's great. It makes work so much easier. By practicing phrasal verbs like this in context, you train your brain to recognize them automatically. Now, let's shift to phrases for showing understanding or empathy, the ones that make you sound emotionally intelligent in English. You can use, that must be hard. I can imagine. I know how you feel. That sounds tough. Don't worry about it. Or, everything will be fine. Repeat gently with me. That must be hard. I can imagine. I know how you feel. That sounds tough. Don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. Now imagine this short scene. Friend, I didn't do well on my exam. You. Oh, I know how you feel. That must be hard. But you'll do better next time. Someone says, I've been really busy lately. You. I can imagine. Make sure to rest when you can. These phrases help you sound kind and thoughtful, which is just as important as being fluent. Let's do a reflection exercise before we move forward. Take a moment and think of 3 phrases from today that you like the most. Maybe, I'll call you in a bit, or don't worry about it, or I figured it out. Now imagine how you can use them in your next real-life conversation. Remember, the key is repetition. The more you say them, the faster they become part of your natural English brain. You're doing really well so far. Every section we go through adds another layer to your fluency. Soon you'll notice that when you speak, words come out smoothly, automatically, and confidently, because your brain has already practiced these rhythms again and again. So, keep going. You are halfway through your journey toward real spoken English fluency. And it's only going to get better from here. Now let's take your fluency practice one step further. Up to now, we've focused on daily phrases, reactions, and connectors that make your English sound natural. But real communication is not only about words. It's about rhythm, emotion, and confidence in how you deliver your message. So, in this section, we'll focus on how to express yourself fully in any situation. Whether you're retelling a story, giving an opinion, or sharing a personal experience. When you tell a story in English, structure matters. Most fluent speakers naturally follow a pattern. They set the scene, add details, and share feelings. Let's try that together. Imagine you're describing your weekend. You can begin like this. It all started on Saturday morning. Or, last weekend was really special because... Or, so, something funny happened yesterday. These small openings instantly catch attention and make your story flow smoothly. Repeat softly with me. It all started on Saturday morning. Last weekend was really special because something funny happened yesterday. Now, let's build that story together. It all started on Saturday morning when I decided to go for a walk. The weather was beautiful, so I grabbed a cup of coffee and walked to the park. I met an old friend there by surprise, and we ended up talking for hours. It felt so good to reconnect. See how simple but complete that story feels? It's not about complex vocabulary. It's about sequence, feeling, and connection. Now, try to think of a small story from your own life. It could be about meeting someone, learning something, or even having a funny experience. Start it with one of our openings. It all started when, or you won't believe what happened. And then add the details naturally. Take a short pause and imagine yourself saying it out loud. You're doing great. Now, let's focus on transition phrases that keep your story smooth and connected. Use expressions like, after that, a few minutes later, suddenly, meanwhile, in the end, and to my surprise. For example, after that, we decided to grab lunch. A few minutes later, it started raining. Meanwhile, my phone battery died. In the end, it turned into one of my favorite days. To my surprise, everything worked out perfectly. These words help your listener follow your story naturally. They're like signposts on a road that guide your direction. Now, repeat them softly after me. After that, a few minutes later, suddenly, meanwhile, in the end, to my surprise. Excellent. Now, let's explore something that many advanced learners forget: how to describe feelings and experiences vividly. When you describe emotion, don't just say, I was happy or I was sad. Try to show it through more expressive language. For example, instead of I was happy, say I was over the moon or I couldn't stop smiling. Instead of I was sad, say I felt down. Or my heart sank. Instead of I was nervous, say my hands were shaking or I had butterflies in my stomach. Instead of I was surprised, say I was taken aback or it completely caught me off guard. These phrases help you express emotion in a real, human way, just like native speakers do. Let's repeat a few softly together. I was over the moon. My heart sank. I had butterflies in my stomach. It caught me off guard. Now, let's create a small emotional storytelling practice. When I got my first English compliment, I was over the moon. It felt like all my hard work had finally paid off. I couldn't stop smiling the whole day. Now, try to imagine your own short story using one of those emotional phrases. It could be about your English journey, a goal you achieved, or even something small that made you proud. Every time you add emotion to your speech, your English becomes more memorable, more alive. Now, let's move into phrases for reflection and realization, the ones that help you sound thoughtful and mature. You can say things like, looking back, I've realized that. It taught me that. It made me understand. Since then, or that moment changed me. For example, looking back, I've realized that consistency is everything. That experience taught me that mistakes are part of learning. Since then, I've been more confident when I speak. Repeat them gently with me. Looking back, I've realized that. It taught me that. Since then, that moment changed me. These reflective phrases show maturity and growth. They let your listener see your journey, not just your words. Now, let's connect that idea to your own English learning story. You can say something like, looking back, I've realized that speaking every day, even for 5 minutes, makes a huge difference. It taught me that practice doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. That's beautiful, isn't it? It's not just fluent English, it's fluent thinking in English. Now, let's move into phrases for motivation and encouragement. The ones you can use with yourself or others when you feel tired or unmotivated. Repeat softly with me. One step at a time. Every day counts. Progress, not perfection. You've come a long way. Keep going. You're getting there. Believe in your journey. These phrases not only help you stay motivated, they sound natural and deeply human. Let's practice them in small daily examples. You. I feel like my progress is slow. Friend. Don't worry. One step at a time. Every day counts. You. I made so many mistakes today. Friend. That's okay. Progress, not perfection. You. I'm still not fluent yet. Friend. But you've come a long way. Keep going. You're getting there. Each of these phrases can become part of your self-talk, a soft reminder that growth in English, like in life, is built slowly, kindly, and steadily. Now, let's imagine you're the one encouraging someone else, a friend or a fellow learner. You can say things like, you're improving faster than you think. I can already see the difference. Don't stop now. You're closer than you realize. It's okay to take breaks, but never give up. These words not only help others, but they also strengthen your own mindset. Now, let's talk about phrases for confidence and self-assurance. When you want to sound confident without sounding arrogant, use expressions like, I'm pretty sure, I'm confident that, I believe, from what I know, or I feel certain that. For example, I'm pretty sure this is the right way. I believe we can do it. I'm confident that practice will pay off. Repeat after me. I'm pretty sure. I'm confident that. I believe. From what I know. I feel certain that. These small phrases build strength in your tone. They show clarity and calmness. Now, let's combine confidence and kindness together in one short example. You say, from what I know, everyone learns differently, and that's okay. Or, I believe you'll get better if you keep practicing. That's exactly how fluent English sounds. Thoughtful, balanced, and authentic. Now, let's do one of my favorite fluency practices, shadowing reflection. I'll say a few sentences slowly, and you can repeat them after me, copying the tone and rhythm as naturally as you can. I've come a long way. I'm proud of how much I've improved. Every mistake helps me grow. I can communicate my thoughts clearly. Fluency is not about perfection, it's about connection. Beautiful. Take a deep breath and repeat those again softly to yourself. Feel how your confidence rises with every phrase. This is what fluency really means. Being able to speak from the heart with calm, with truth, and with rhythm. And remember, you're not learning just words. You're learning how to express life through English. You're doing so well. And there's still more to discover. Let's keep going, because the more you speak, the more natural you become. And the more English starts to feel like your language. Now that you're learning to express yourself confidently, let's explore how to sound smooth and natural when you connect ideas in longer conversations. Because fluency isn't only about what you say, it's about how easily your words flow from one thought to the next. One of the best ways to build this flow is by using linking expressions for explanation and reason. These help you explain why or how something happens in a natural way. Let's practice some of them together. That's because the reason is, you see, basically, in other words, to put it simply, repeat them softly after me. That's because the reason is, you see, basically, in other words. To put it simply, now, here's how you can use them in real sentences. I enjoy learning English. That's because it connects me with people from around the world. You see, the key to fluency is daily consistency. Basically, practice turns knowledge into confidence. In other words, the more you use English, the more natural it feels. These linking expressions let your thoughts move naturally. They're the glue that holds your ideas together. Let's keep going with phrases that organize your ideas when you're speaking for longer. You can say, first of all, secondly, finally, or, for casual speech, to start with. Then again, on top of that, last but not least. For example, first of all, you need motivation. Secondly, you need a daily routine. And finally, you need patience. Or, in a friendly tone. To start with, I love English movies. On top of that, I enjoy learning new expressions from them. Repeat these softly now. First of all, secondly, finally. On top of that, last but not least. These are especially helpful if you're giving a presentation or explaining something. They make your English sound organized and professional. Now, let's practice a small activity together. Imagine you're giving simple advice on learning English. Say, first of all, listen more than you speak. Secondly, repeat what you hear. And finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Excellent, that's fluent, clear, and confident English. Now let's learn phrases for expressing preference and comparison, because fluent speakers often, instead of just saying, I like A more than B, try describing what you like or choose in a more subtle way. For example, use phrases like, I'd rather, I prefer, I tend to, I usually go for, I'm more into, or I don't really go for. So, instead of saying, I like staying in more than going out, you could say, I'd rather stay in than go out on weekends. Instead of saying, I like waking up early, say, I tend to wake up early. It helps me focus. Rather than saying, I like quiet cafes better, you could say, I'm more into quiet cafes than crowded ones. And instead of, I don't like spicy food, you can say, I don't really go for spicy food. Repeat these softly with me. I'd rather, I prefer, I tend to, I usually go for, I'm more into, I don't really go for. You can use these phrases to sound more natural when you're describing your habits, tastes, or lifestyle choices. Now, let's move on to phrases that show possibility and likelihood. These phrases will help you sound realistic and balanced when you speak. You can use phrases like, it might, it could, there's a chance, it's likely that, or I wouldn't be surprised if. For instance, you could say, it might rain later, so take an umbrella, or it could be a good idea to practice in the morning. You could also say, there's a chance we'll meet again soon. Or, it's likely that you'll improve quickly if you stay consistent. And, I wouldn't be surprised if you become fluent this year. Let's repeat those softly together. It might, it could, there's a chance. It's likely that, I wouldn't be surprised if. Using these phrases makes your tone sound thoughtful and balanced, not too strong and not too weak, but just natural. Next up, let's practice some conversation repair phrases. These are useful for when you don't understand something or when you need a moment to think. Try these. Sorry. What was that again? Could you repeat that? Let me think for a moment. What I mean is, how should I put it? I'm trying to say that. Repeat them gently with me. Sorry, what was that again? Let me think for a moment. What I mean is, how should I put it? These expressions give you time to collect your thoughts and keep conversations flowing smoothly, even when you hesitate. That's exactly what fluent speakers do too. Now, let's add some phrases for balancing opinions. These are like little bridges that show understanding while you're expressing your own